Hey guys, welcome back to the hangar. I am super excited today because we're finally getting started on avionics. You know what, every episode of working with the Red Rocket, I'm super excited. But we're installing this guy today from Trig Avionics. This is my radio. Look how tiny this thing is. So I know that it's been a while, but there's good reason for that. I've been having to lay a lot of the groundwork to be able to get the avionics installed. And there's a lot of things I had to do, like design the panel, cut the panel, make sure everything fits inside of the panel, and then test fit the panel inside of the airplane. I didn't know if you guys would find any of that stuff interesting, so I kind of recorded some stuff. I could make a video on it, so let me know if you're interested in that down inside of the comments. But let me show you exactly what we're doing today and talk through why I'm going to be doing it. All right, guys, here is my panel. I'm incredibly excited about this. I custom designed it, all of those things. We're not worried about that. What we're worried about is this little guy right here. There's a really big reason why I wanted something so small. That's because I needed to move weight around inside the airplane. I want to fly this from the front, and typically J3 Cubs are flown from the back. So to accommodate all of that stuff, I've made some major modifications right up in here. You can see I removed the fuel tank. I created a tray, created the custom panel, and I've got everything set up to it. I've already started wiring a handful of things, but this is just the head unit for the Trig. I'm gonna pop that guy out. All of its brains is actually going to be back there inside of another box. So this is a remote mount box for this system. And together, I mean, they're actually still smaller than a standard radio. But being able to put this in another location opens up a lot of opportunity and possibilities for people. For me, it's weight, and even though this is really, really light, I still wanted it much weight behind me as possible. But let me show you how I'm going to be mounting this in the back of the plane. And this is what I'm going to be using to do that. I went ahead and made this tray out of a simple piece of plywood and a little bit of Kydex on top to make it a little bit more robust and aesthetically pleasing. But I had to put all these pieces on here up front because once I get this guy in, it's a little hard to get out. So I've gone ahead and mounted the tray for the radio, mounted the tray for the transponder. This is for my ELT and where my battery is going to be going. All right, this really is the first step of the process. I got to get this guy installed so that I can run the wiring from the head unit to the brain unit. And to do that, I have a wiring harness from Trig to make my life infinitely easier. And here we have it. You can get this guy in two different lengths. I went ahead and got the 3-meter version, which is about 9 feet, but it comes with everything you need, including all of the plugs. Everything is labeled appropriately so that you can get everything working quickly and easily. All right, enough talk. Let's get this guy installed. Well, that was a bigger pain than I remember it being. Everything, you know, kind of wedges into place as you're putting it in, because I wanted to have a really nice fit down here, and you can see it worked out perfectly. And all of my avionics and stuff are going to clear the control wires without any issues, and I can finally hook these guys back up and get my control services working. I'm gonna be honest, it's already getting pretty spicy out. I think it's over 90 degrees. It's 10 a.m. and we still got a lot of work to do. All right, I moved the airplane out for better lighting, but next step is the wiring. And this airplane, if you don't have it completely torn apart, it's near impossible to run additional wiring through it. So I'm gonna use this guy. And this is just like a, what do they call it? Like conduit? You can open it up right here and we can put all of our wiring inside of it and then close it up in the end. The idea is to be able to run it just to the side of the controls here and going all the way back and puncture that right back there, and it'll go all the way through and give us exactly what we're looking for. Up front here, we'll go ahead and put a hole and then run all the wiring up the side of the airplane behind this stuff right here. Now, the downside to this is the adhesive that's on the back side of this is absolutely terrible, and you can see I've already started peeling it off, and look how easily it comes off. So I'm gonna take this off and we're gonna use a real adhesive so that this doesn't come off in flight or give us any electrical problems. So I'm gonna get to it. little isopropyl alcohol to make sure that this surface is nice and clean so that we get the best stick as possible. All right, that guy is all the way in. I think that's gonna work great. I did have to apply a little bit of heat right there because, as you can see, this goes this way and then turns that way. And I wanted to make sure that the adhesive made contact with the side of the airplane, but that is going to work fantastic. I'm very pleased. So it's time for the next step in the process, this wiring. So I'm gonna put this guy in that conduit that I just put in, and I'm gonna have to cut another hole up here to be able to fish it up to the avionics tray. All right, that took a little bit longer than expected, but I'm gonna tie all that stuff up so it clears all of the control wires. These come around here and up over there. They are just the perfect length for what I needed to do. Now, I did get all this hooked up and everything, and I just have it laying there, and I don't know if I said why. It's because I'm building an additional panel that goes along here, and I'm gonna mount these guys appropriately where they belong when I do that. I've got my push to talk buttons just right there. We'll do that in a little bit, and everything ran perfectly. Now, over here, one thing that I definitely love about this wiring harness is everything has been labeled. So now I just have to put terminations on the ends of these and hook them up to where they need to be on this. And then we can test it, but I gotta do the antenna first. That guy's sitting over there. So let me get this buttoned up and then we'll work on the antenna. Okay, we've got everything hooked up. It's all looking good. Intercom and ground are plugged in right over there. Down over here, we've hooked up the power to the circuit breaker right here. So if I was to pull this guy, just leave that like that for now. We have a power adapter that's going on right here. I really should start linking this. This is perfect. It does 14 volts and like 3.8 amps. So for testing individual items, this is great if you're working on your own avionics and don't want to mess with your battery. So I've got that all hooked up. Yeah, let's plug it in. Yep, that's all the way on. So if I come over here to the master, nothing should happen. Yep, that thing's a ghost. Gonna come here to avionics, and that would turn on if I had this. So let's go ahead and push this guy in. And it works. All right, still gotta do the antenna, and then we'll test it. All right, I bet you didn't know that Trig made antennas. They do. This is their VHF antenna. They also have a transponder antenna and GPS antennas, all of which they've provided for this build. So everything Trig for our comms and our transponder. But we need to get this mounted to our, well, I don't know what this is called. It's a plate, but it goes on top of the airplane, and this is the old tired antenna that I am excited to be removing. So remove this, install this, using the provided kit that they have. It's got all the screws, the mounting bracket, not bracket, what is that, washer thing. We're ready to go. Everything that we need to install it. All right, that is that. New antenna is installed. There was some previous holes that were already on this, and I went ahead and used them. It seems like this might be a little bit crooked though, because those holes weren't exactly perfect, but that's okay. Won't notice once it's up there, except you may now because I said it. I figured it out. The antenna is now straight. It's this plate up here that I believe was a custom made item that is not perfectly straight to the airplane. And from up here, you can see what I'm talking about. This is overhanging more than it is over there, but the antenna, to me, looks straight to the aircraft. Now, we gotta wire this guy in. We're gonna run it from all the way down there, up along over here, and then come up along here, and we're just gonna plug it in. So this guy up here is a standard B and C connector, but when we come down here, you can't see it all the way, but that is a T and C connector. That one screws on, and this one has some kind of locking nut that goes with it. I've got both of those with some R58 cable to be able to connect them all together. I've got cutting tools, crimping tools, everything I need. I have an electrical bag, guys. Yeah, I don't want to say I've done this stuff before because I haven't, but I have all the crap to do it because of other projects and things. So let's do this. That's gonna be it for that guy. I think I did everything right and terminated it all correctly. So let's grab these guys and give it a listen.
November 2 Lima Alpha, number 3, following Cessna, head in a downwind for wind 25 right, clear touch and go.
Oh my gosh,
number 3, 25 right, clear touch and go, traffic is 5, Lima Alpha.
All right, so the only thing that I've got left here now is I don't have my yokes inside of the airplane
wind
yet.
180 at Niner.
Whatever. This is the push to talk button. If I ground this out, I should be able to talk to tower in some way. Let's see if we hear the click. Oh my gosh, I did. Okay. Deer Valley ground. Can I get a radio check?
Calling Deer Valley ground, unreadable.
Unreadable. All right, I made a couple of adjustments. I think it's going to work. Let's wait for these guys. We'll go ahead and do a radio check. Deer Valley Tower, can I get a radio check?
Radio check.
Yes. All right. We got this thing working.
Editing Carl here. I realize you guys weren't able to hear that last call. I heard it perfectly loud and clear, and Tower responded they could hear me loud and clear. I had to boost all the audio up. I'm still fiddling with this radio and my audio equipment to be able to record it properly, and I know what I did wrong now, but just letting you know, everything sounded perfect. So the problem that I was having, and the reason you couldn't hear me, is because I terminated these guys not correctly. I thought that I was doing it right. I used to work a lot with BNC connectors and camera systems, but I just did it wrong because it's been so long. But once I did it right, everything started working perfectly. Also, there was a little bit of troubleshooting because I mixed up the push to talk wires because, like an idiot, I went ahead and took the little labels off of them. But I am incredibly happy that Trig has decided to join us in the Red Rocket build. Their solution is perfect for what I am trying to do. You can see I don't have a whole lot of room inside of there. Anything bigger and I'd be having to makeshift other stuff to just make it work, where this just works out of the box. So huge thank you to Trig for joining us and making the radios possible inside of this plane. But they've done a bit more. I've already told you. Transponder, that's coming too. Much more complicated. Anyways, I'm exhausted. It is super hot out here. I'm gonna put the plane away and go cool off. So anyways, share aviation wherever you can, and we'll see you in the next one. Yeah, that was a little abrupt.